Hello and welcome. In today's video, we will be developing a React application that showcases an interactive recipe gallery. Or doesn't show you how to cook it, but it shows you recipes made. And it will be using React State to manage dynamic content and respond to user actions. And this is much preferred to having to update the DOM each time. That would just require much more computational resources. It would also be slower um, and less user-friendly and less tailored to the user and also to the operator or to the system. So let's get into it. We're actually building this off of an earlier project that we built. So we already had some of the template set up, and I have those instructions in the README if you want to do this, and the GitHub repo is public. So I created uh, gallery.jsx in the src folder. That's where the images and the descriptions, excuse me, are going to live. Come on, alarm. That's where the images and descriptions are going to live. Then we're going to export those into app.jsx. So uh, I picked out 3 dishes that I happen to love. Uh, and they're excellent if you want to cook them. I don't have the recipes, but you can do that. Um, we're using StateHook to manage the current index of the displayed images, and by default, one image will be displayed, um, and we'll also be keeping track of the current state. We'll have a next and a previous button to be able to cycle through the image, and boundary checks to make sure we're not cycling to images that don't exist, and then you have to cycle all the way back and be punished for that. Um, it didn't get too crazy on the CSS here, and then we'll have some test cases at the end. So let's keep going. Uh, is there anything that I said there that I didn't say here? I was kind of just reading the assignment instructions there, but that is essentially how I kind of did it too. Uh, yeah, I to reformat the project, I did update the state um, names or the names of the items being affected or that will have a state associated with them. Before it was count because it was a simple counter, and now it's items. So we switched it to item or image, excuse me. Um, index. Oh, I cannot think today. Excuse me. Index. We set it to index instead of count. So set index index because that makes more sense than count. And these things are very important when you are, proper naming conventions are very important to being able to maintain what we're doing. We're using event handlers to cycle through images and a module operator very cleverly to allow the gallery to loop. And I mentioned the current item. We'll look at that as well. And then we'll go into the test cases. So this is what the gallery looks like. Um, I'm not making any money off this video, and these are public images, so I think I'm good to use it as a college project. But yeah, I just Google copy pasted there. Um, we already had a lot of these imports in here. Pretty much just had to add the images with the JSX syntax there and the curly braces from gallery. So that's a really cool feature there. Saves you a lot of code, and it's just easier to read. We mentioned before this used to be count, now it's index, still going with the use state 0. And then we have the next image. So that is going to cycle through the next image. That's what this function does. It does it by setting the index or previous. It finds out where that is, and then it uh, executes a function. So it says the previous plus 1, and then the modulo, it determines the length and ensures that it doesn't spill past that. The previous image button or its function excuse me 1 second here. The previous event handler, let's call it what it is. Uh, this part of it handles, this is the why it's an event handler. It's because of the parentheses. And this part is, I should know the name of what this actually is, but it executes the function or it converts, it triggers the JSX to saying, hey, there's a function coming up here, execute it. And then the function is set index previous, figure out what it is first of all. And then once you figure out what it is, then you're going to set the previous index -1 instead of +1. That's the big thing here. Plus the image length. Um, and then you're going to divide it by the image length to ensure that you're not um, getting beyond what the existing image is in the array. So that one, it would be kind of tricky, honestly, doing this like in a sit-down interview. I got to work on this sort of logic. Anyhow, const current item equals images, and then index, which is the array, keeps everything nice and clean. Need some water. It's kind of a hot day, excuse me. Uh, so we have the return here, which is needed. Um, here you have just the main header. There's no H1 gasp because this is kind of a longer title. Um, and yeah, then here's the display container. Does it actually say this? We'll see in a second if it actually says display container. Um, in any event, that is what this is. And then within the display container, you have uh, the current item .url and then the current item .description. So that's very clever here how the current item is equal to the images within the index. So it just saves a bit of time and it's pretty nice. And then there's the alt. You can super easy adjust the width and the height. And then description at the bottom. And then the alt text is also there just for impaired or accessibility, I should say. Excuse me. Um, and then yeah, then you have the previous button there. Um, the previous comes before the next. I'm like, where's the next? Then there's the next, and then here you have the ticks, the export default app, which is necessary to get this thing going. And then let's see how it looks. Where is it? There we go. All right. So this is the page. This is, oh, if you've ever been to Noodles and Company, I'm cycling forward. This is making me too hungry. Yeah, pasta fresca, just, with extra everything on it. Um, Japanese curry. Now, I don't know if this is homemade or what. The bok choy is looking good. Nice and, look at that. That doesn't look like some painted grill mark. I need to get on with this assignment. Excuse me. Um, Japanese curry, if you get the cubes, they even have a vegan version, which is what I get. And ooh wee, it just, yeah. What you do is you get some scissors and then you cut it up. And first you get like some onions and some oil, and you get the onions nice and brown. And then like once they're good, then you mix it in there because they have to kind of like have a partner. Like in this case, it's the carrots and stuff. I'm way off track. One more test here. Vegan tacos with the guacamole and the Pacifico. This is not, oh my gosh, this is not me, but yeah, pretty Larry David, pretty good here. Um, anyway, as you see, we're back at the first index. So test number 1, there was an image when we loaded up the site. Test number 2, the next button works, the previous button works as intended. We're not seeing random images. It's coherent. And then some edge cases would be, will it actually cycle through? It does, and it does cycle through. So yeah, everything's working pretty well. Oh, and then the last edge case here, just for funsies, if we Where is that VS Code at? And then get rid of that. So if we just delete all the actual like things in the array, so it's just an empty array, will it handle it gracefully? What will happen? Well, it's not an error, but I wouldn't quite call it graceful. We could maybe add something here. This wasn't part of the instructions. I'm not going to do that. I just had to come up with three edge cases. But if it was like, you know, like I was actually going to make something like this, I definitely would. Um, Hope you enjoyed and that the food talk wasn't too off-putting for you. Thanks.